Okay, so once again, thank you everybody for joining us today. Um, like I had mentioned, we are joined by Matthew from Harman. I'm going to pass it off to him today, and he's going to go over our new product selection from JBL and Crown. Matthew, take it away.
All right, good. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So I guess it's a good morning for the folks out west, and it's good afternoon for me as I'm in Montreal. All right, so welcome. My name is Mathieu Guilbeault, and I'm the lead application and support specialist at HPC, which is Harman Pro Canada, and so we are the exclusive distributor of the all the Harman Pro brand, audio brand, I should say, in Canada. And Staub Electronics is one of our a good partner for the residential channel. So I know your time is valuable, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. Probably hang on for 20 to 30 minutes or something like that. All right, so um, I will start with the agenda today. So I'll start with the JBL. I'll go over everything that's control contractor from JBL. So we're talking about ceiling speakers, surface mount speakers. We have subwoofer satellite system and a couple of subwoofers. Then I'll move on to the crown side. Which I will talk about different amplifier. We have analog with DSP. We have high power version, premium, 70 volts. I'll also talk about the drive core technology, which has been done by Crown a few years back. And so it's a very interesting technology. So as you guys must know, JBL has been there for quite a few years, well, over 70 years now, and it's present in all kinds of categories. So these are basically commercial products, but that we make available for the residential channel again, because I think we think that there's a lot of use for that. Um, so I'll start with our ceiling speakers offering. So starting with the Control 24 and 26. So these models are pretty versatile. So the Control 24 is a 4-inch full range, and the Control 26 is a 6.5-inch. There's multiple version of each speakers. There's high impedance only, low impedance, which is 70 volt only. We have a low profile option as well. So it's a shallow backend if space is tight in the ceiling. That's the Control 24 Micro. We have high power version. And the Control 26 can also come as a pre-construction transducer assembly. So it will fit any standard 8-inch backend if that's required. So at low impedance, they are 16 ohms, so pretty handful if you want to stay in the low impedance world, where you can put basically 4 per amplifier channel. Then again, in our ceiling speaker offering, we have the Control 40 series, which is really our premium quality ceiling speakers. They have a constant directivity waveguide, which just means it's just a standard waveguide. I think you can see here on the pictures, which makes that the frequency response is really even across the listening area. So when you walk across the listener plane of one speaker, you will probably hear no difference in the frequency response. There's a 5.25 and a 6.5-inch version. So the Control 45 and 47, these are full range. There's a low profile and a high ceiling versions for the Control 47, which is the 6.5-inch version. We also have an 8-inch ceiling one subwoofer and a sub satellite system. So using the Control 40 series, you can connect up to 4 little satellite speakers for a complete system. So again, this is our premium quality. The transformer, 70 volt transformer, is really high quality. So the difference between low impedance and high impedance is not that large. There's always a difference in the low frequency, but other than that, it should be pretty even. If we move on to our surface mount speakers. So we're talking about the Control 23, 25, 28. These speakers have been around for probably 20 years. They are well known. You can see them in a lot of places. Lots of install. They actually did a revision of those about 3 years ago, and that's what you that Staub has access to. It's the Control 23-1, 25-1, and 28-1. They have a more modern design, more contemporary eye design appearance. The same thing, the same invisible for mounting is there, so it's included in the package. And then there's U brackets available as well. These speakers are weather resistant, so there's a WeatherMax grill that we call the WeatherMax grill option that can be buy separately. Basically, what it is a more robust front grill and a back panel to protect the connection from the weather. So that's also available for the Control Contractor series. I forgot to mention that we also have the Control 30 and 31 and the Control 29 AV, so more power. These are 10-inch version. The Control 29 is pretty robust. We have that installed in even in bars and clubs. And the Control 30 and 31s are two-way and three-way version, pretty high power. So these are big speakers. Next up, we have the Control 50 series. So it is a subwoofer satellite system, which is surface mount. So it's very nice. It's a good looking design. It's got 70-volt transformer as well. It's a 200-watt low impedance subwoofer, and you just need to connect the satellite to the subwoofer, which include a wall mount bracket, and there you go. So it's available in black and white, which is the case for all of our all the speakers I'm talking about today. So again, Control 50 sub-satellite system. And then we have a few subwoofer option. The Control SB 2210. So it is a dual 10 subwoofer, a very compact, low profile design. It's got multiple M6 insert points all around the speaker, so it can be mounted pretty much any way you want. You can be as creative as you want if you need to pole mount them or using unistruts. There's all type of stuff that you can, all type of design that you can do to install. There's also a U bracket that's available. It's pretty high power, and so it makes a very good low frequency extension cabinet for other full range offering speakers. We also have the SB2, which has been there for a while, pretty successful. It can be put on a corner if you look at the shape there on the pictures. We have so it's a stereo sub, this one, so you can have a stereo inputs, and it's going to sum that and use the single 10-inch for the low frequency response. And there's a few mounting options as well. So I know there's a pole mounting options if you need to. Otherwise, it comes with a standard bracket. All right. So now let's move on to the Crown side. So our amplifier by Crown. So Crown has been around also for many years. And the history is quite impressive on all the amplifier over the years. That there's still amplifiers somewhere in the world that are 20, 30 years old that are still in really good shape. So I will start with the XLI series. So the XLI series is our some of our entry-level amplifiers. It's a purely analog speaker, so it's really only analog. There's no DSP in there. It's got a user selectable input sensitivity, so it could be used as a line level or mic level. There's an electronically balanced RCA and XLR input, so it's pretty versatile. The output is either binding post and speak on. So again, you get the choice. The rating at 8 ohms. So there's 4 model, one at 200 watts, 330, 500s, and 1,000 watts. That's per channel. So 4 model for the XLI. Then I'll move on to a more powerful amplifier, which is the XTI2 series. So it's actually the second generation of these XTI. So these are built as a tour grade amplifier. It's got pretty powerful DSP in there. So you will have a limiter, you will have a little bit of EQ, and there's also delay. You'll be able to do crossovers straight in the amplifier. So if you have a 2-way or a 3-way speaker, you can use that amplifier crossover. You can also monitor line voltage and the power supply temperature, which could be handy. So in the back, it's XLR and speak on speakers. Power rating at 8 ohms, 275, 475, 650, 1200. The bigger model, the 6002, can actually go up to 2,100 watts per channel. So we could use a pretty powerful speaker with these. Now I will just make a little break on the products to talk to you about the drive core technology from Crown. So it is a technology that has been developed by Crown around 6 or 7 years ago. So the drive core, it's actually the two parts are the power supply and there's also separate chips in there. So the power supply is very efficient. So pretty much any power that comes in will also almost all come out from the amplifier. So it's over 90% efficient with the power supply. And internally, they replaced over 500 parts of the amplifier by a single chip. So that's over 500 parts. So here it says 674 parts that will never break. So it's really reliable, really robust. As you can see on the left, this is the CTS 4-channel amplifiers that we had before. And on the right, it's a drive core 4-channel amplifier as well that takes literally half the space. So with really high-end models, we can actually stack 8 channels in a 2-unit chassis. So so there's a lot of advantage to with the drive core technology. So our first drive core model that's available at Staub Electronics is the XLS series. So it's a very lightweight amplifier, but even if it's lightweight, it does sound pretty good. There's a higher DSP capability with the peak limiter. Again, really efficient. It's got XLR, quarter-inch, and RCA input, and it doesn't make a lot of noise. You can also monitor the temperature of the power supply, and it's easy to maintain with the front grille. So a very nice speaker, amplifier, the XLS. There's 4 models as well on the XLS series. Next, we have the CDI drive core series. This is really our premium offering on the CDI that's available to you. So it's got a full drive core technology. You got network control and monitoring. So the DSP is a very advanced DSP. Which is on board, and there are speaker tuning. So pretty much every speakers that JBL makes on the commercial and install side has a tuning in that amplifier. So when you engage the tuning for a particular channel, which can be, by the way, low impedance or high impedance, it's really per channel that you decide if it's 8 ohm, 4 ohms, or 70 volts. So when you select a speaker tuning, it will automatically set the limiter based on the model of amplifier that you have. It's gonna set a crossover if you need to. If it uses a 70 volts, it's gonna put a high pass filter at the proper frequency, and everything can be configured from the front panel interface. So you don't have to hook up a computer and go in there and to change all the settings. Everything can be done from the front panel, which is pretty intuitive. So and it sounds very, very good. So there's also configurable GPIO, so you can monitor if it's still on, and you can trigger presets with analog GPI if you need. The aux port being for the monitoring. There are 2 and 4 channel version of that amplifier. At both 2 and 4 channels, you have 300 watts per channel, 600 watt per channel, or 1200 watts per channel. That rating is good at 4 ohm, 8 ohm, and 70 volts. So I know for some it's pretty unusual to see the same rating at almost all impedance, but this is due to the power supply that comes with the drive core. So again, very, very versatile amplifier, very powerful. And on the maintenance side, it's also pretty easy. That front that you can see on it, the front grill, you can just pop it off, just spray it, and then put it back, and you're good to go. So and ventilation is front to back. So you can just stack them on top of each other. You don't even have to leave space, and there's not a lot of heat dissipation with those amplifiers. So that's for the CDI. And now we also have a few amplifiers, smaller amplifier and mixers from that are actually branded JBL. So it is drive core technology. So it's basically a crown amplifier in a JBL enclosure. So we have mixer, we have amplifier, we have mixer amplifier. So they have 1 zones or 2 zone depending on the model. The amplifier and the mixer amplifier could go at 40, 80, and 120 watts. We also have an amplifier only that's 300 watts per channel. So 1 or 2 channels. And again, these ratings are good for 4, 8 ohms, and 70 volts. There's a Vox function on the CSMA, which are the mixer amplifier, and the CSM, which is just the mixer. There's a Vox function which is basically an input priority. So it could be used as a mic in a commercial installation, but it could be used to pretty much anything that you plugged into the first input will be able to take over everything else without having to do anything. It's got a mic line input with phantom power that's on a Phoenix connector, and you also have RCA stereo input per channel, which is mono summed for the amplifier because these amplifiers are mono. So even the 2-channel one is actually a 2 mono zone. You will see in the front as well, right under the master volume, that you have a basic bass and treble control. So not a big thing, but it just can be handy sometimes, just as a basic EQ, that small bass and treble thing. So there's also wall mount volume control. So they are very good design. I should have put a picture of them here, but you can find them on the JBL commercials .com or probably on the Stop Electronics website as well. So very nice. It's just a simply volume control that connects behind the device with a standard Cat5 cable. So it's not digital, it's still analog, but since the Cat5 is so easy, it's so inexpensive, they figured that it was better like that. So this is pretty much what I had prepared. And so if you have any questions, you can always talk to your Stop Electronics sales representative. I'm also available if you go on our webpage from HPC, which is hpc.jamindustries.com. All my info are there. And I also have a team that works with me that can answer questions. So thank you very much for being there, and looking forward for more business with Stop. So up to you, Paul.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for that, Matthew. We're just gonna open it up here. If anybody's got any quick questions, you can either just raise your hand or type it in the question bar. I will just give everybody a moment here. Well, it looks like Matthew did a pretty good job. Looks
All
like
right.
not any questions. However, if anybody, like Matthew said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to your business development manager, or always feel free to give us a call at the office at Staub. Other than that, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank
And
you,
thank you,
everyone.
Matthew.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.